to reintroduce IMF-imposed 15% VAT on power. Government set to reintroduce IMF-imposed 15% VAT on power. So these are the topics that we have tabled for this morning's conversation. As usual, I'll implore you to be a part of it. Let me know what your thoughts are. The text line has been displayed on your screen: 0559919802, 0559919802. Send in your thoughts, send in your messages. I'll be more than glad to read them when the show, or as the show progresses. Also, we are live on Facebook, so if you can't watch from the comfort of your homes, you are going to work, perhaps you're in a taxi or a trotro, you can just log on to facebook.com/Pan-African Television. We are streaming live over there. Make sure you join the feed, share so that others can also join in the conversation. This morning, I've been joined by Counsel Apia Dankwa, who is a staunch member of the Movement for Change. He communicates for them as well. Counsel, good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show. I trust you're fine.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very well. It's been a while too. Yeah. I think for about 2 weeks we haven't met, if I'm not wrong.
You've been gallivanting through the rest of the country.
All right. Also, Hamza Suhuyini is here with us. Hamza Suhuyini is a member of the National Democratic Congress's communications team. He's a lawyer. Not in Ghana yet. Not in Ghana yet, but he's a lawyer. I have two legal practitioners here on the show. Hopefully, Saka Salia would also be joining us. He's also studying to become a lawyer, so there's going to be a legal affair here on Good Morning Africa. So, Hamza, good morning.
Good morning.
I trust you're fine.
Well, we survive under the unfortunate realities of the economic mess that we are all reeling under. So hopefully things will get better when Mahama assumes power again come 7th January 2025. And our brothers in the butterfly movement would be more than willing, I'm sure, to come under the umbrella to contribute their quota to the development of this country, especially the restructuring process. I'm pretty much convinced that they have Ghana at heart.
Yes.
And they will do everything within their power to support that realistic dream of rebuilding this country. So we welcome you on board.
7 January 2025.
Right. I knew that was going to. I knew that was going to come. I knew that rebuttal was going to come. But let's, without further ado, get into our first topic for conversation. Please, you are not supposed to call the text line. It is a text line. It is not a call line. Please do not call. Just leave a message. I'm going to try my best possible to read every message that you send today. So please don't call the line. Just leave a message. We'll head into our first topic for conversation. GBC disputes sports minister's claim on $3 million African Games payment. GBC disputes sports minister's claim on $3 million African Games payment. So there have been contradictions with regards to some monies being paid to the state broadcaster, that is the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, as far as the just ended All African Games is concerned. Well, while the sports minister, Mustafa Hamid, who is also the member of parliament for the Yagaba Kubore constituency, he's saying that they paid monies in excess of $3 million to GBC. The Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has come out to say that, look, the monies we have received is $105,000. You make the deduction and then you see that there's a whole lot left. So this is a developing story. Where has the rest of the money gone? Where has it gone to? We do not know that yet. What we do know for a fact is that the sports minister or the sports ministry have issued a press statement, or yes, they issued a statement yesterday when GBC came out to say that, look, it was $105,000 you paid us and not something more than the $3 million that you are talking about. Let me see if I can get the statement. Okay, but I think there's a breakdown here which says that the Ministry of Youth and Sports has disclosed that a total of $2.5 million was paid directly to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation for televising the 2023 African Games. In a statement signed by the sector minister, Mustafa Yusuf, it was indicated that $1 million and $1.5 million were paid to GBC on 13th March 2024 and 22nd May 2024 respectively. The statement further clarified that an amount of $1 million was paid to third parties upon the instruction of GBC in accordance with the contract. Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee on Monday, 19th August 2024, Yusuf stated GBC was the official broadcaster for the 13th African Games, and I can confirm that full payment has been made to GBC. Although he could not specify the total amount he mentioned, I can't recall the exact amount, but I know it exceeds $3 million. However, the Director General of GBC, Professor Amin Alhassan, clarified that the state media house received only $105,000, not $3 million as stated by the Sports Minister. We facilitated payments to foreign third parties who handled the production, not for the benefit of GBC. GBC's share, I repeat, was $105,000, and that is what we received. Despite this, the ministry insists that payments were made to third parties only on GBC's instructions after an agreement was reached and signed. Reportedly, some media organizations quoted $6 million to produce the event, but the ministry chose GBC due to their lower quote of $3.6 million. The agreement signed with GBC was based on the understanding that the state broadcaster would engage the services of third parties to assist them in fulfilling their obligations. The total agreed amount was $3.6 million. From the total amount, $2.5 million was paid directly to GBC in two tranches, $1 million on 13th May and $1.5 million on 22nd May 2024. We are still waiting for the GBC to also come up with a clarification, because it appears that the Sports Ministry is sticking to their version that the monies that they paid to GBC was in excess of $3 million and not the $105,000 that the Director General of GBC is quoting. I'm starting the conversation with you, Hamza Sweeney.
Good morning, yes, of course, to my colleague panelists and our viewers out there. You see, it is sad that once again we are called upon to discuss the conduct of the Nana Addo Bawumia government in relation to how they handle the finance of this country. I think that is becoming a daily ritual in this country, where on a daily basis we wake up to stinking stories about corruption, stinking stories about reckless or wanton dissipation of our resources, meager resources at that, especially at a time that our economy is going through so many challenges, largely bequeathed unto us by their incompetence as well. You would agree with me that this is not the first time we are dealing with issues of uncanny nature or conduct when it comes to appointees of Nana Addo. We saw it specifically in the PDS scandal. This was how it also started, with accusations and counter-accusations. At the end of the day, when the National Democratic Congress and other minor political parties raised the red flags, we came to the realization that so many underhand dealings were going on or had gone on under that so-called PDS deal. As if that was not enough, we woke up to the senior minister's own conduct in the Kroll and Associates saga, where allegations were made as to certain amounts of money being paid and those that were not paid or received. So there seemed to be a litany of corrupt issues, largely sponsored by the inaction of Nana Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Because you see, if your appointees engage in all kinds of conduct and all what you do is to engage our security agencies and our investigative bodies to clear them, you are emboldening a chunk of them to take a cue from the conduct of their colleagues. And that is why we are here. But the interesting thing is that it is even difficult to insulate the presidency from most of these conducts. Largely recently, we all read in the news about the president's own daughter's problematic dealings and engagements with the Ministry of Finance in relation to the ambulance issues, where about $34 million was being used as a contractual sum to service the maintenance of our ambulances. Another murky endeavor. So, bless. Ordinarily, one should be tired and frustrated having to discuss on a daily basis these issues of corruption, but we are urged on largely because of the Ghanaian people. And largely because, you see, someone or a group of people must be seen speaking for them. And that is why it is important for especially the youth to understand that many of these things, we may come and sit on radio and TV and talk about it. But at the end of the day, it has a direct impact on their livelihoods. And that is why it is important for us to work together now in the collective interest of this country to ensure that if for nothing at all, we bring these guys to justice. And the only way we can bring them to justice is to ensure that we vote for change and allow another government the space to investigate most of these corruption allegations. Now, narrowing in or zeroing in on the specific issue of the Minister of Sports engagement, I monitored it and I was sad because the Minister of Sports directly was confronted by Honorable Sam George at the Public Accounts Committee when he sought to find out the amount of money that was paid to GBC throughout the All-African Games. And he was emphatic. He said that, look, I am clear on my mind that we paid in excess of $3 million. And Honorable Sam George again indicated or inquired from him whether he was so positive about the figure. He said, yes. I can tell you on authority that we paid in excess of $3 million to GBC, not to associates or third parties associated with the transaction. Less than 24 hours, the GBC director comes out with a press statement, in fact, an interview, and alleges that the highest they received from the Ministry of Sport was $105,000 for their services rendered. Then, that was when the whole controversy started. Then the Minister of Finance, there was the Minister of Youth and Sports later on in the evening releases another statement to say that, look, we still stand by the fact that we released in excess of 3 million cedis to you. But even in their own computations, you have the letter. They said that the first payment was made in March or so, 2024, which amounted to about 1 million. And the second payment was 1.5. 1.5 plus 1 million gives you how much? $2.5 million. So far less than what the Minister of Youth and Sports stated before the Public Accounts Committee. Interestingly, there is no evidence of how even the 105,000 cedis was paid to GBC. In the letter released by the Minister for Youth and Sports, he now sought to clarify that they were under instruction by the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation to pay the last tranche of the money, which was about $1 million, to a third party that provided services to GBC. The funny thing is that the ministry's letter fails to name that third party that received that final payment. But when it came to the payments made to GBC, they were emphatic with the dates. So it is GBC's word against that of the Minister of Youth and Sports. And at this critical moment, I think that one would be remiss if you were to believe the word of the Minister of Youth and Sports, because largely the GBC director has so far remained consistent. He has indicated that indeed they can actually produce documentation to prove that they received $105,000. And if you look at the nature of the service agreement between the government of Ghana and that of GBC, it was clear. There was no reference to third parties as far as the whole enterprise was concerned. So go and look at the actual service agreement between the two. So if subsequently GBC goes out of its way, it's a contractual arrangement with government to contract third parties, then we need to be given access to the kind of arrangement that GBC reached with those third parties. And it will not take the Minister of Youth and Sports to pay those third parties. It will be the GBC and those third parties. So clearly, the Minister of Youth and Sports cannot sidestep our payment procedures to pay the third parties that they have not contracted directly, especially when they have failed to produce any evidence that GBC gave an instruction for them to effect payment to a third party. In any case, in a transparent environment, what prevents you, Bless, from giving us evidence of the payments made? For instance, it shouldn't be difficult for Minister of Youth and Sports to name in the release the company that that final payment was made into, unless of course they have something to hide. In line with the principles of accountability and transparency in governance, why is it difficult for him to mention those companies? We also need to know whether indeed the so-called 1 million and subsequent 1.5 million being alleged by their statement to have been paid was indeed paid. because there is no evidence that that money was paid. And you see, you remember, just immediately after the games, the NDC, I think a day or two, raised concerns and said that it was time for us to scrutinize the expenditure. They used their media men, and the catchphrase in town was, look, let us live in the glory. It's been a successful project, and so why are you always being naysayers? These were the concerns, these were the allegations they raised against the NDC. What we wanted to scrutinize, because by then, we had information that not only the Republic of Ghana was shortchanged, but even GBC workers were shortchanged. Bless. They were paid 100 Ghana cedis each. Those who actually did the coverage as staff of GBC. Out of over $3.6 million dollars. What kind of reckless behavior is this? What kind of wickedness is this? What kind of corruption will drive you to do this to your own people? So even if you are receiving 3.6 million that you cannot account for, those who do the work as citizens of this republic who struggle to make ends meet, especially under an economy that is not functioning, you should have that sense of decency and remorse to at least pay them for their due, as far as their job is concerned. In any case, that $3.6 million would have been able to transform GBC overnight. Many of the radio stations and TV stations that are doing well today do not have access to $3.6 million. They did not inject $3.6 million to survive. Bless, I'm pretty much convinced that as we speak here today, even $200,000, $300,000 can change the face of Pan-African television, let alone $3.6 million. So you don't need an angel to come down to let you know that this is usual. This is in line with the agenda to create loot and share. And that it is not new under this government. And there's the need for us to work together to bring an end to it. Look, people should forget it. We are not going to see any form of accountability from that transaction. The only way that accountability will be brought to light is if we succeed in voting these guys out of office. And you see, the time has come for us to do that. It has become a religious obligation. Not just a political one, but a religious obligation, largely because the conduct of this government is not only threatening our economic well-being, it is threatening our moral underpinnings. It is threatening our religious philosophies. Because you see, you may go to church on a daily basis to cry to God for God to make your economic livelihood better. If your state is a failed one, you can pray to you can pray as long as you want. God may not be able to respond to your need. So the time has come for us to situate our prayers in line with our actions that will make it easier for God to even fulfill our prayers. And I have always said that the greatest tragedy that has befallen this country since 92, especially under the Fourth Republic, has been the Nana-Addo-led administration. Indeed, we witnessed that of Jerry Rawlings. We witnessed that of President John Agyekum Kufuor. I'm an NDC person. I can say all what I want to say about the New Patriotic Party under Kufuor. But in all honesty and sincerity, what President Kufuor led was 1,000 times better and attractive than what we have been subjected to under the 8-year rule of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And that is why it has become urgent for every Ghanaian, and I pay particular attention to the youth, and I always emphasize that point, because where we have gotten to, it is only the youth of this country who can rescue us. We have all been caged by the conduct of the Nana Addo Bawumia-led administration. And the only force that can rally around to drive that change and ensure that we own the process of change is the Ghanaian youth. And if you look at the National Democratic Congress, we have already shown the parameters. From our National Communications Wing to our National Youth Secretariat, the agenda to rescue this country has been taken over by the NDC youth. And we are committed to ensuring that even in power, we will still protect the sanctity of our democracy and ensure that corruption is made unattractive as far as our body politics is concerned. So it is an invitation to many youth out there, including those who are members of the New Patriotic Party and who accept that things are not going on well and they are suffering, that the time has come for us to put an end to this unholy alliance between Nana Addo and Bawumia, engendered or desired or particularly driven to make this nation dry and to bankrupt our morals as far as the Republic is concerned. So, Bless, expect no accountability under Nana Addo, and expect no light, further light to be thrown on this issue from the Minister of Youth and Sports. They will take us as usual for granted because they've done it over the period and we've been quiet. So I do not expect any transparency or any accountability coming from them. But you know that that money, just like they did to PDS, just like they did in the Kroll Associates issue, just like they did to the ambulance service issue, that money has been squandered. And nothing is going to happen unless we change them.
Right. Thank you very much, Hamza Suini, for your submission. If you are just joining us, this is Good Morning Africa, the newspaper review segment of the show. We are live from our studios at number 48, Swanika Street in Abelinkpe. Before I come to Councillor Pierre Dankwa, let me say a hearty good morning to Saka Salia. Saka, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
I trust you're fine.
I'm doing fantastic.
Right. Right. Yeah. Now, Council.
Yeah, so good morning once again. Let me wish my brother Saka a good morning. And Hamza, good morning. Very good submission. Which largely, apart from the portion that says that John should take over, I largely stand on all fours with that's a very good submission. And just to add that, you know, he spoke about the economy of the situation, the morals of the situation, and all. I just want to add that, and most critically, another thing that this situation brings up is the evil that is being done to our democracy. Because you see, when you look at the surface, or when you take it on a face value, it seems like an issue of the Minister of Youth and Sports saying one thing, and then the GBC people saying
another thing.
And so, okay, let's investigate, and probably when we investigate, the truth or otherwise will come out. But really, for me, what this issue brings to the fore is a further deepening of the lack of trust or the lack of credibility of political leadership in this country. Because at the end of the day, we seem to be joking with public funds and how we manage public funds, and how we also manage perception of people who hold public position. Because are we saying that there are no internal controls or there are no systems? As in, why is it? How can it be that on issues that governs or that borders on public funds, the minister will say something else, and the GBC will also say, because they are both public institutions for crying out, and the money they are dealing with is public money. So because it's public money, usually when government speaks, it's sacrosanct. There shouldn't be any form of ambiguity or confusion when government speaks, as in if government is working properly. But it's like we are joking. It's like we do things to represent things. We are not deliberate enough. We are not intentional enough. We are very careless. Because one, when you've been asked about payments to GBC, I think it was even, in my view, in my humble view, I think it was even wrong for the minister to be talking about 3 million. Yeah. It should be exact. Because you have made payments. You are saying you've made payments. You shouldn't be talking about. I can talk about. But you, the minister, you shouldn't be talking about. Secondly, so you make a statement which is challenged. As an GBC challenge, because they are saying that they receive 105. You are saying that you've paid about or over in excess of 3 million. And then when you come to rebut, and then you then try to be exact now and to categorize the payment. Tell us not even up to 3 million. For me, it is a worry, because what that does for me as a citizen of this country is to further deepen my fundamental lack of trust in public leadership. And that's what I mean by democracy itself is being put on trial. especially in the light of the Afro Barometer report, where the youth of this country are saying that they do not trust in the democracy we are practicing. Yeah, because for me, when you take the Brian Champion issue, and when you take even the comments the president is making now, we don't seem to understand the huge burden that is placed on them as public servants, as public officers, as people who are meant to serve the public. Because you see, we are running a system where real power is a democracy and is a republic, demos. We the people, we are the repository of raw power, and we are giving our power to government. And we are giving our power to government with the belief and faith and trust that they are going to use the powers we have granted them to serve us. So immediately you are seen, and I'm very deliberate in my choice of word. You are seen because of what is at stake. The burden on public officers is not just to do right, but the burden also on them is to be seen to be doing right. Perception is very critical here. So it's not enough that you are not doing wrong. You must manifestly be seen to be doing right. You must manifestly be seen to be using the powers we've granted you to be serving our purpose, our agenda, not your private agenda. And because of that burden, even in how you communicate, in how you answer questions, in how you respond to review, you understand? You must have that burden at the back of your mind, and that burden requires that you are exact. You show some seriousness when issues that borders on how you spend public money comes to the fore. And why are they quoting in dollars? Well, this is not an international contract for crying out loud. Why are they quoting in dollar? Why is it not in CD?
You don't want us to see the magnitude.
Oh no, but at the time when our city is reeling under serious pressure and sovereign lack of credibility, you don't quote contracts that really is between one public entity and another public entity in dollar. So for me, I think the issues that are brought to the fore are issues that we have been bedeviled with under this regime. You understand? Issues that borders on the fundamental lack of appreciation of the need to maintain, or right now, not even about maintain, because that trust has been lost, to restore the lack of credibility in public leadership. That is what is really at the fore, and the fundamental lack of an understanding or appreciation of same. You understand? And I hate to say that the only way we seem to be correcting these things is to change power, but we need to look at our governance structure. Because 4 years is a very long time for anybody to cause you havoc. As in when we get a choice of leadership wrong. 4 years is a very long time, as in to sit and wait to vote before
things are corrected. Or the wrongs are righted.
Yeah. We need to look at the structures of our governance. Must we always sit and wait 4 years before we can cause change? Can't we cause change within that 4 years? What prevents it? Well, in any serious country, once these issues are coming, the minister should be thinking about resigning. Because once you behave in a manner that impugns on the trust or takes things away from the trust the people of this country will have in you. That's what I'm saying. The burden on him is not just to do right. You see, when the public officer, the burden on you is not just to do right. The burden on you is manifestly to be seen to be doing the right thing. So immediately you do anything that brings or that questions the trust, the belief the citizens have in you, then the system must be such that change can be effected. Yeah. And also to the people of Ghana, you see, we will need to, based on what we've seen over the past 8 years, because right now, the problems we have been dealt with is a country where political leadership, and not just Nanadu, and not just the MPP. Right now, all politicians have lost some form of credibility due to no fault of theirs. But because of the depraved leadership we've received over the past 8 years, all politicians have lost some credibility. So the burden on whoever takes over in 2025, I praise Alan Chemanton, but whoever takes over in 2025 also has that burden of restoring, of attempting to restore that integrity, that credibility, that trust the people will have in political leadership. Our economy also has lost credibility. See, so that's the burden, and for me, it brings to the fore the need for us to change the structures of our governance system, and need to look at the structures of our economy. You understand? And need to build that culture, that right political culture, that will hold people in leadership accountable for their stewardship. A need to make political leadership understand that there is also ethics. There's also ethics with leadership. You understand? So for me, I think those issues have come to the fore, and I'll call on the people of Ghana, the citizens of Ghana, to understand that all the great nations of this world have been built by the people themselves. Nobody will live anywhere and come and build their country for them. Nobody will build Ghana for us. We will build Ghana ourselves. But in that building, the starting point always in decisions that we need to make. Decisions that borders on who is going to give that leadership.
Council, please conclude.
You see, there's a burden on us, all of us, to build our nation. And that burden will start with a decision as to who will lead that course. I've outlined the problems that we are faced with. Come 7th December, let us take a decision that is premised on integrity. So the fact that somebody belongs to a certain political party does not necessarily mean that they have what it takes to provide that leadership. Let us think intently about what is at stake, about our country, and let us choose a leader who has a program that one can build the structures of this economy, a program that can forge the right political culture of this country, a culture that will restore the integrity of political leadership in this country. Let us come together and make that choice. Choose Alan John Kojo Chemanton as that leader, and let us build our country and restore Ghana as the black star of Africa.
Right, thank you very much, Councillor Apiadankwa. Let me do a few messages before I come to Saka Salia. Good morning to you and your panelists. My name is Morocco from I have been mate before, and what I vividly know is that mate handles money in the car, and still the ones he can steal before handling the rest to the driver, which is his master. So when someone says, I'm just a mate, please let us look at it very well. And cast our votes very well. Okay, thank you very much for your message and for your analogy. Emmanuel Martin says, Dr. Bawumia will serve better than any of the candidates in the 2024 elections. A vote for MPP is a vote for development. A vote for Dr. Bawumia is a vote for the future. We are breaking the 8. We know this is possible. The alternative is empty. What did they leave at the Jubilee House? Greetings to Honorable Brian Achampon. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Martin. So we do Obrempon, watching from Kwehu Tafo. Thank you so much. Good morning to you and your panelists. MPP today, corruption, tomorrow scandals. So what kind of governance are we experiencing in this fourth republic? President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia are corrupt, and most of their appointees are also corrupt. They are stealing our monies and God's given natural resources. From Amos in Asin-Fosu. Thank you, Amos. Good morning to the people of Asin-Fosu. Thanks for doing the watching. Odro Manso at Seshwiyo so says, good morning. The sports minister must be investigated. Why did he wait till GBC's director came out with what they have received? This is corruption. All right, thank you so much for your message. This one here says, the wasteful Nana those appointees are at it again. Sadly, nothing will happen to the minister after failing to give a proper account of this whopping sum of money. It saddens my heart that while persons are dying of kidney issues and other chronic ailments, our leaders are busy wasting state resources, looting and sharing with careless abandon. Their day of reckoning will surely come. I know Saka will try to defend this mess, but he should behave himself this time around. His needless interjections have not been seen today. He should allow the free flow of the program. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandema. Thank you, Daniel. Saka hasn't even spoken yet. And then, good morning, Pan African TV. Baumia is Baumia knows our problems very well, but he didn't do anything to solve even one problem. When they said 1v1 dam, we were happy because we think it will help us to do irrigation farming, but they failed us. Even one district you cannot find here at North. What a shame. We will vote Baumia and MPP out of power come December 7, 2024. Latif Nindo from Tamale sent this one. Thank you, Latif. Let me do this one, which says, good morning. Please greet my boss, Mr. Suini. Either GBC collected money or not. If NDC comes to power, we will know. Red Pong from Tamale sent this one. Thank you, Red, for your message. I'll read this final one, which says that okay, it's a press statement. I'm sorry, I can't read it. The flat rate policy by Alhaji Baumia is an introduction of a negative rated tax regime. The MPP must tell Ghanaians how much revenue will be needed to implement programs to undo the mess Baumia himself has created with regards to the hyper exchange rates. The MPP's 2024 manifesto is more theoretical than practical economic policies, which will increase the national wealth. Prekese Kwame, aristocrat from Kaswa, Old Barrier. Thank you for your message. On that note, let me turn my attention now to Saka Salia, whose phone has refused to be on silent. Saka, don't you have the silent button on your phone? The volume up and the volume down key. When you turn it down, the phone would go mute. But that aside, yeah. I'm taking your submission on this particular topic.
Oh, thank you very much. Let me also take this opportunity to say good morning to my brothers here today. Good morning to the president. I should have started with the president anyway. Good morning to our indefatigable vice president and the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, the first Muslim aspiring to become a president of Ghana. As a Muslim, I'm very proud of that, and I hope, inshallah, it will come to pass.
He's not the first Muslim. Just for a point of correction, do not mislead history students on this network.
So who?
This is an important platform.
So who?
There are so many other presidents who are
in Ghana?
Yes, but they never got the opportunity.
I'm saying that he is aspiring to become president. I'm saying that when he become, he'll be the first.
But that's
yes. When he become, but that's not what he said.
That's not what he said.
I attempted.
But you said he's the first to aspire.
No,
that's what you said.
He is aspiring, and I'm saying that I hope and I pray that it comes to pass.
But he said he's the first.
Oh, Massa.
But let's move away from that. Let's proceed.
You want us to dwell on
but you were misinforming us.
To dwell on trivialities. I'm saying that he is going to be the first president of Ghana as Muslim, whether you like it or not.
First president of
yes, first Muslim president.
Yeah, so this is a different
yes.
thing you're saying.
So I mean, you can what God has decreed, nobody can undo it. That's the one. I mean, it is clear, and based on the policies of the MPP, the integrity. Oh, can you people let me talk? The policy of the MPP, the integrity of Baumia as compared to the corrupt ones that we all know, the John Mohammeds of this world, and the others who do not have credibility and all those things. I'm 100% sure that God willing, Baumia will become the president of this land because he's incorruptible. His speeches are very refined. He doesn't insult. He doesn't use the word silly, baloney, and all those things. He respects the Ghanaian. And he doesn't assume himself to be the president-elect already. Unlike John Mahama, who is talking as if he has already been elected. When I come, I'm warning the investor and all those things. You have not been elected a president, so don't come and waste people and talk like you have already been elected. I mean, these people, Ghanaians will punish them, and see, when they create that impression,
We are talking about the GBC.
when they create that impression and then they don't win, that's when they start asking people to go to the street. Because you have not won election. Nothing shows that you will win. You've been rejected in the past, and then you are claiming, I'm warning the investor when we come. He doesn't even say if we come. You see, they raise their hope to the high heaven. And when the Ghanaians say once again that they don't like him, then he will say people should go and kill themselves for him. Anyway, let's go to the GBC matter. Well, I mean, we all heard what happened. The Public Accounts Committee, a question was asked. The minister said that, okay, GBC has been paid some amount of money, $3.6 million. I'm hearing my brother say that why are they using $6? I mean, this is international transaction. This is not just local. This international transaction. You should have known that. And it was international competitive bidding. And other media houses actually bidded for it. But you see, and this was in conjunction with the game organizing committees. That is the All Africa Games and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. They decided that, okay, GBC don't have the technical wherewithal, but because it's local and it's happening in Ghana, and the fact that their bid was the lowest, let's try and see whether they can do it. Actually, after signing the contract, they realized that GBC cannot even do it. So they said that GBC can contract third parties so that they will now pay the third parties. And that was what happened. And indeed, the minister have given evidence to show that GBC was giving monies. He said that on March 13th, 2024, GBC was giving 1.5 million out of that money. And also, later, GBC added another 1 million to make it 2.5. And then the 1 million again was also added. But you see,
To who?
in the statement of the
1 million was not added, was not given to GBC in the statement.
So in the statement of the ministry, they clearly, indicated that after the 1.2, what was outstanding was 1 million. So if it's not added, I don't know, but it means that
I can read the
no.
statement for you.
They said the 1 million. Let me tell you what they said. They said GBC asked them to pay the 1 million to a third party that did the work.
Okay.
So the GBC did not have the technical, know-how to do the broadcasting and those things. So those that had the technical, operation machines and all those things. So and who contracted with GBC as third parties, GBC asked that pay the rest of the 1 million to those people, and then they duly paid that money. So when we come and sit here, and then instead of us to look at the issues well, because look, the first confusion that is being put in the minds of Ghanaians were that maybe GBC, Director General Professor Amin Alansa, thought maybe the minister was talking about the fact that all the 3.6 million was paid to GBC. That wasn't the point. That wasn't what the minister referred to. The minister was referring to that the contract that they signed with GBC, even though GBC didn't benefit from that money, it was through GBC that those monies were paid.
But why? But then
So I mean, I don't see any. Why? I mean, there's no issue here.
No, then there's still no clarity, because if you are saying that you didn't pay all you didn't pay the 3.6, the entirety of the $3.6 million to GBC, who did you pay what to?
All those monies that were paid through GBC to third parties.
No, that's not what the press statement says. I can read it.
I read the press statement.
I can read it to you.
Read the press statement.
That's not what Saka. That's
No.
not what
Read the
it
press
says.
statement.
That we wish to make the following statements to clarify the issues.
Yes.
the Ministry of Youth and Sports, through the local organizing committee, received proposals from various stakeholders for the production and broadcasting rights for the 13th African Games.
Yes.
Some organizations submitted proposals in excess of $6 million, which the ministry deemed excessive. Also, the ministry, in its quest to build local capacity and leave a legacy after the 13th African Games, engaged the GBC to become the official broadcaster for the Games. The other reason for the ministry's decision was that GBC's financial quotation for production and transmission was the lowest, with the understanding that GBC will use the services of third parties to assist them implement their obligations.
Exactly.
The total agreed amount was $3.6 million. Subsequently, an agreement was reached between the two institutions, the ministry and GBC. From the total amount, $2.5 million was paid directly to GBC in two tranches, $1 million and $1.5 million on 13th March 2024 and 22nd May 2024 respectively, directly to the GBC. It didn't say
So
that.
you continue.
It didn't say that I paid it to a third party on behalf of GBC. No, I want us to make that. I want us to establish that. And it goes on to say, another amount of $1 million was paid to third parties upon the instruction of GBC in accordance with the contract. So what this in essence is telling us is that $1 million was paid to third parties upon the instruction of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. But the first two tranches, that is the $1 million and $1.5 million,
Which is 2.5.
was paid directly to GBC.
But we all accepted that it was paid directly. And I mentioned the dates and all those things. But GBC not having the technical abilities, we're not going to consume that money themselves. It was going to be onward transfer to other third parties contracted. But it was only the third tranche of payment that did not go through GBC account.
So you were wrong.
Why was I wrong? I mean, what is wrong with what I said?
You lied.
You see,
And the letter
listen.
So
I am saying, even the 2.5 paid to GBC, I'm sure it was not meant for GBC themselves consumption.
But how? Even if it is not meant for their consumption, the Director General of GBC is saying that you didn't pay $2.5 million to GBC. You paid $105,000.
And I'm saying that the minister disagree with this.
So now GBC is lying.
But I'm saying now I cannot sit here and say GBC is lying. But what I'm saying is that minister cannot give a date that payment were made and lie. It is impossible because those are traceable. I'm sure if you mention the bank, you see, but because of one or two reasons, it might serve that one for now. But he gave specific dates that payment were made. So if the person was lying, he won't be specific in some of these things. Let's be honest with ourselves. Somebody cannot be lying and give you a particular date that they paid monies into, because there will be bank, and then the bank can trace the payment. There will be an account that the accounts can be traced and all those things. So let's not jump into conclusion by saying that, oh, this is corruption or this is what something. Somebody might say, oh, irregularities and all those things. I mean, why the confusion?
But you see, the interesting part of this conversation, Saka, the interesting part of this conversation is that when the sports minister was faced PAC, what he said was that in excess of $3 million was paid directly to GBC. Now your letter is telling us that $2.5 million was paid to GBC.
But the point is that upon the instruction of GBC, the last tranche was paid.
Yes, but so that money was not paid to GBC.
No, but it is presumed that while GBC actually directed that, okay, pay it to this person, pay it to this person, it is presumed GBC were the institution that were paying doing the payment. That's the point I'm making.
Well,
so I mean, let's not jump the gun. I'm sure there will be investigations. Although the public account committee is still even doing the investigations and all those things. So let's not jump to conclusion by creating the impression that, oh, something untoward that happened. Oh, the ministers chopped money. People have lost interest in politics and all those things. I think that people in this country are always praying for scandals, when indeed they themselves are scandals. we have a situation in this country where a woman has been jailed by court of competent jurisdiction. And that woman is a fugitive as we are talking today from the NDC, said none. And then we are not talking about how the NDC is not telling Ghanaians that, okay, our member who actually chopped money and then has been in prison, these are the clues that we can use, let the police go and arrest her to come. They, rather, who have been in over the years, NDC functionaries have been incarcerated for acts of corruption and almost every act that is not good in this country. No MPP person has ever been incarcerated for act of corruption. Meanwhile, they will come and sit here and create the impression that, oh, if John Mahama come, he will, first of all, the dying embers of his John Mahama's regime, he gave 75% of our bauxite, known bauxite resources to the brother. Bauxite that can, help all of us. Then he said that after he lost election, he decided that, okay, my brother, come and take, let's chop this. And then he took the Supreme Court of Ghana. He took the Supreme Court of Ghana to reverse it. And this man has never forgiven the Supreme Court. That's the reason why he go around insulting the court and here and there, and vowing that he wants to become president so that he can return those sins to the brother again.
That's what
and then you think that,
he has said that.
He hasn't said that.
He has said that.
He hasn't said that he wants to come
and
reverse our bauxite to the brother again.
He has been insulting the courts.
Well, if somebody mentioned, if a small boy who doesn't know anything says unanimous 7, would you, who knows something, repeat that? Would you say that the court has been packed, the court is now political court? So that if you come, you will change that trajectory by appointing NDC people.
Did he
say that? I'm saying that this man has been insulting this court. Did he say that when he... That is insult enough, that the court doesn't know what it's doing. So, if it wants to be political, you help it to be more political by bringing more NDC people to the bench. Right. So I'm saying that if we are looking for act of corruption, this is not one of them. This particular case of GBC and the sports ministry is nothing like corrupt acts. The Public Accounts Committee tried to look for irregularities, corrupt act, and all those things. And when they come to conclusion, even if Public Account Committee seem to see something that looks like corruption, the perpetrator still have the opportunity to even take the matter to court to clear his name. Right. So this is not a matter that anybody should come to conclusion.
Thank you, Saka. Thank you, Saka. Thank you very much, Saka.
Yes, I think that it is only proper that I respond briefly to the needless spinning and confusion that my brother ended up subjecting himself and his party to. You see, when these guys are caught pants down, it is like pressing the panic button in them. They become haywire. They just throw out jargons without any substantial basis for doing so. And I'll demonstrate to you why. First of all, on this table, he has made the unfounded allegation that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not corrupt. Who says so? In the history of this republic, it was Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, for the first time as sitting vice president, who presided over the PDS scandal and ensured that a bank guarantee was changed to an insurance guarantee largely intended to swindle the state. And we have lost in excess of over $2 billion as a result of that. As I speak with you, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would be the first jail candidate who would appear before the court of this country to demonstrate why he had to preside over such a meeting to change a fundamental requirement of a contractual agreement that deals with the security of this country, because we are talking about electricity, that he changed it from insurance guarantee, from a bank guarantee to an insurance, largely because of his own personal interest and his illicit appetite for money. Again, he talks about empowerment for brothers. Go and look at President Mahama's record. It is only under Mahmoud Bawumia as vice president and chairman of the economic management team that sole source contracts that he made noise over in opposition, over 200 million has been awarded to his own brother, Abraham. And everybody knows where that money goes to and where that money ends to. You are talking about a person with integrity. We are dealing with Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, a character who descended so low to the extent that he even went to the port through his own secretary at the vice presidency to steal salary rice meant for the market women who struggle under this difficult economy to import rice into this country were seized by Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's personal secretary using his letterhead. And as I speak with you, and that was the rice Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia shared in Northern Region to people and party apparatchiks.
Is it the expired one?
And the guy is still, not even the expired one, and the guy is still at post at Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's office. The guy is not a Muslim. The guy is called Ose. What is the relationship between a Christian and a Salarites? You know that he was acting under the instruction of his best. And you are talking about credibility. We are dealing with a vice presidential candidate who mounted platforms in this country and assured us that we were going to stabilize our exchange rate. Today, what is the exchange rate? We are dealing with a character who had the effrontery to mount political platforms in this country to assure the youth of this country that they are going to work on unemployment. Under President John Dramani Mahama, unemployment was about 8%. Today, unemployment is averaging 15%. Under him, as chairman of the economic management, it is 14.7%. Bless, I'm coming. You can't challenge it. These are the
I will
facts.
challenge it. You wait.
We are talking about a character
I will challenge it.
with zero integrity who mounted a platform and assured the country of this country that there was money in this country and that there is no need for us to go outside and go to develop the country. Yes, I'm coming.
I'll prove to you.
And today, that same character, under his watch, a chairman of the management economic management team, has run this country bankrupt. We've never had a situation where Ghana government, of course, because it is troubling. I must. Every concerned Ghana must be in tears now because of what he has done to this country. We are dealing with a character. We are dealing with a character who mounted the platforms and assured us that Ghana needed not to borrow. Today, our borrowing levels have increased from 122 billion to 740 billion under his watch. And even the most bizarre aspect of it is that since since independence, we've never had a situation where our economy is crashed, where we are locked out of the capital market under him as management of the economic management.
Right.
Our economy is crashed,
right,
and we have been locked out of the economic management. But you see, bless. Now coming back to the Minister of Sports issue, where I said that he did not understand the issues. You see, I have before me the service line agreement. The Minister of Youth and Sports and Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. There is nowhere it is stated in this document and the service agreement that the Minister of Youth and Sports, the GBC, was going to contract third-party service agents to do their work. This is the agreement. And the agreement stipulates the terms of payment. And the actual amount that GBC was due to be paid was 3.6 million.
Was that an assignment clause in the contract?
No, the only place that the only point that is close to an assignment clause is where GBC decides on its own to contract third parties and gives an instruction to Youth and Sports to pay the two third parties directly. That one is there because if you come here, they say tell you that where there arise any differences as a result of foreign exchange, no. So that they would transfer the city equivalent. No, I think I saw the assignment clause there somewhere. It should be. It's indicated.
Can you forward to me?
I'll forward it to you. Under the instruction, where the GBC gives them direct instruction to pay to third parties, they can do so.
Okay.
So there's no evidence that GBC gave that direct instruction to the Minister of Youth and Sports, and GBC still maintains that they did not receive 1.5 million, 1 million subsequently from the GBC and from the Minister of Youth and Sports. The highest amount of money they received was 105,000. They didn't what?
They didn't order the minister to pay the third party.
No, that is their position. Minister is alleging, and they have even failed to know
what's the GBC response to that?
GBC says that they have received only 105,000.
That is what they said first.
And that is still their position. They have not changed. Oh, come on.
They haven't come out to debunk
And if you claim to be transparent, I'm just
They haven't come out to debunk
There are other topics. There are other topics.
I have something to the back. I have something to the back.
Bless.
Let me conclude.
There are other topics.
Yes.
Let me conclude on this.
You want to call him a character?
Let me conclude on this note. But everyone knows Baume is a character. Let me conclude on this note. That you see, sometimes when you are sent by your political parties to appear on platforms, you must credit our listeners and viewers with some measure of intelligence. Everybody in this country knows, and anybody who is listening to us understands that you have no defense to this canker, this reckless, this wanton dissipation of our resources. All what you are doing around this table, unfortunately, all what you are doing around this table is put up a nauseating defense of a corruption canker that will not only affect me as a citizen of this country, but will affect you and your children. And that is why you have to rise above the partisanship and let them understand that what is happening is unacceptable. And that is why I commend the butterfly movement and the likes of Alan Chermante, because they have come to appreciate that the new patriotic party has been hijacked by characters like him, whose only interest is to fuel the dissipation and corruption that is happening. But I can assure you, whether you like it or not, John Dramani Mahama is coming back to power, and when he comes back to power, your people would face the full rigors of the law. Just get ready. Everyone knows Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a damaged product. Now, if you give him time, you are giving me time.
I'll give him time for the next topic if you decide.
You give me time.
No,
I'm not yet done responding to you. I'm not done.
I will respond to you properly.
Right, I'm doing a few messages from our Facebook.
Respond to you properly.
Because I know you.
This one here says, my name is Nazir. Please, kindly, please. My name is Nazir Mohammed. How much are they giving him to defend everything bad in this government? Has he no conscience? When a bowl of kinky is now 5 cedis and eating kinky is now a luxury, many people can't afford. He still defends it. People in his area can't afford fertilizer because it has been smuggled by his people. So far, Sako says, Saka, will you keep quiet? Hey.
How can you defend the Saka?
Kekeli Sheriff says, okay. Rosemary Maunyo says, good morning, the good people of Ghana. Please, I want to know from Saka if he's still in Ghana before talking like this. Please, we want to hear from credible people. All right, thank you so much. Alasan Ibn Fuseni says, my name is Alasan Fuseni, aka Patahene Techiman Dagomba line. Please tell Saka if he doesn't know it's not by force, he should stop disgracing himself. Abdul Hakim Kramwa says, hello, good morning, blessed. I'm very disappointed in the MPP communicators for defending the indefensible. Bravo to Honorable Hamza Suhini. Mohammed Miss Bahudin says, I know Saka will defend this scandal. All right, thank you so much. Good morning, Mr. Host. Can you please tell Saka to stop defending what he knows nothing about? The GBC has provided their position with evidence. The minister must come out. Saka is going to the grave with the NPP. Samuel Oting Brempon says, in fact, defending the corruptible act of the minister has become very difficult for NPP communicators. Look at how Saka is struggling to twist the truth. Okay, thank you so much. Let me read this one. Good morning, Pan-African TV. God has already chosen John Mahama for the next president of Ghana. Saka is afraid of Mahama next administration because he will be held accountable. Oh, but Saka has no position, so Saka has no problem if another government is in power. Right. Good morning, Bless. My regards to your panel, and my name is Nana Yao from Teshi. You see the MPP, if you see Saka, if he continues to talk like this, he alone will make his party lose like 1 million votes. He's a liar. He's just talking because he gets pocket money from his party. It's normal like that. But Charlie, okay, all right. Thank you so much for your message. This one here also says, Good morning, sir. Dr. Baumia lost his integrity the very day he said he will abolish e-levy and other burdensome nuisance taxes. He should have resigned as a vice president honorably. At least that would have saved his image and dignity. It's too late now. No one in his or her right senses will vote Dr. Baumia and the MPP. Enough of the deception and lies. What are all these? Stephen from Wager. Thank you, Stephen. All right, this one here says Saka is Ghana's problem. I say more. How can Saka be Ghana's problem? Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, my brother. Saka this morning is indirectly insulting and attacking the person of the National Security Minister, Mr. Kandapa. Mr. Kandapa has been on record to tell his own government to be very careful of the results we have been getting from our courts because it is dangerous to the stability and the democracy of this country. What can Saka say about that? My brother, 2024 election is going to be based on credibility, trustworthy, and honesty. But I am afraid Dr. Baumia lacks all these credentials. Dr. Baumia cannot be trusted because he's facing serious credibility crisis. The MPP as a political party always feels they know it all but know nothing. Under the leadership of Dr. Baumia as the chairman of the economic management team, Ghana's economy is rated as junk. What about that? All right, thank you so much. Alhaji Hamza, good morning to the people of Pig Farm. Thank you for always watching. This one here says, I told you that Saka would do everything within his power to defend this wasteful act of the Akufo-Addo government. It's sad that a northern brother like Saka is doing this. Daniel Akpaliok from Sam Dema. Thank you, Daniel, for your message. Good morning, Pan-African TV. The total money paid is $3.6 million, $2.5 million for GTV, $1 million for third party. Now, where is the rest of the 100,000? That's a good question. I thought about that also. Because there's still, even if you are going,
104 or 4.
105,000.
Yeah, that's the rest.
No, it is not.
If you add this, if you add that 100,
no,
how much will you get?
Then it will be 3.
Wouldn't you get 3.6?
No, it will be 3.6. It will be 3.65.
Yeah, but I mean, when they say 3.6, it doesn't mean exact.
Why can't it be exact?
There will be some small amount there.
So $5,000 is no money. That's 75,000 cedis Osaka.
So it will be 3.65.
Right. Let me do some more messages. Please tell Baumia that he's finished because they used him for all these jobs. And the rest of the message is not so clear. But your name is Salam Atubiga from the Upper East region. Okay, I'm receiving lots of messages. Saka, the people are on your case this morning. Right. let's proceed to our next topic for conversation. Akufo-Addo, if you have your time, you can use that time to rebut, please. Ambassador Sampiale says Saka. That's all he said. Right. Akufo-Addo shrugs off snake storm, describes controversy over hotel sale as needless and unnecessary. This coming from the former president. Isn't it interesting that Snate actually had taken the decision to sell the hotels because, I mean, they weren't making money. Not making money necessarily, but the expected dividends that was to be accrued from these hotels were not coming. But I've seen Snate come out to say that they've made in excess of $230 million. Where's that money coming from? The $230 million Ghana cedis that... No, it's in the news. And that's what the president has been commenting on. 230...
How many?
230 million Ghana cedis. Then, so the president has said that the profits they've made should put this conversation, this hotel sale conversation, to bed. And I don't understand where all these monies are coming from. Cancel.
You didn't call me. I put myself. You see, at least if we didn't know what happens to a nation when you choose the wrong person as a leader, or where you choose somebody who doesn't understand the ethics of leadership as a leader, at least this should be clear. The issue is not about whether Snate is profitable or not. That is not the issue. Our issue, or the issue of the people of Ghana with the Brian Chample's attempt to purchase shares in the hotels had nothing to do with whether or not Snate is profitable or not. That was not the issue. Indeed, the issue was not even about whether the hotels themselves were profitable or not. Yes, that was not the issue. The issue, in fact, is not about whether or not you can invite private persons to invest in the Senate Hotel or not. That was not the issue. The issue is which we call the angst of Ghanaians, was about the evil of allowing a public officer to attempt to buy public property and how that can impact the trust the public has in public leadership. That's the issue. And so if the president doesn't understand that, then it explains the mess we are in. You see, if the president doesn't understand that when you are a public officer, then you should not even think of purchasing public property because of what it can do to public trust. You understand? It explains why the president has sat down and allow what they've done with our natural resources in terms of galamsey to happen. Like even where the law has clearly created a trust in you, the president, you sit down and allow your party apparatchiks to steal property of Ghana. It explains why people in public positions will be grabbing state properties as if they are chichinga. Because you have a president who doesn't understand the ethics of leadership. That's why public leadership in this country is losing credibility or has lost credibility. Because in 2016, Ghanaians made the mistake of choosing a non-leader as leader. And so he's coming, he doesn't understand what is required of him as the leader of Ghana. He thinks he's just the president of Ghana. But being president of Ghana is just a position. When you're president of Ghana, you are the leader of Ghana. It's your duty to serve this country. It's your duty to use the power we've granted you to advance the cause of this country. You don't use it to advance your own cause. And when we hold you accountable, when we attempt to put you on the right, on the narrow and right path, you come and say what? That you did not understand the noise. Nanado, you don't understand the noise.
He said it's needless.
And that is needless, and that we shall sit down aloof and allow public officers to attempt to buy or deal with public property. You don't understand what you are doing to our democracy. He doesn't understand. And it explains everything. It explains everything why the president of Ghana sees nothing wrong with picking people who are perceived to be members of his political party into the EC. He doesn't understand how that undermines this our democracy. He doesn't understand. And that's why we must take the exercise we are going to do on the 7th of December very seriously. Because my brother Saka here is going on about John Mahama attempting to give what's called concession to his brother. So if that was wrong, then how can you justify by Champions Zone? How can you justify the contract to the baby daddy, Nado's daughter's baby daddy? Why is principle? And so what is right depending on the color or the party or the human being doing it. Why is principle? Because wrong is wrong, right is right, depending on whoever does it. And so, for me, MPP shouldn't have the moral right to be talking to still be talking about President Mahama attempting to give whatever concession to his brother. You understand? They've lost that moral right because the principle that governs that. Because I also had issues with that because of the conflict of interest. But it's the principle. It's the same principle that governs my Champions issue. The same principle that governs the president's baby daddy issue. It's the same principle that governs the finance minister using his company as transactional advisors in respect of almost all the loan transactions that the government protracted. Yeah, you understand? We need a restoration of principle in governance in this country. The president shouldn't be pushing political credibility further down by such careless statements. He's done too much harm to this country. Obviously, what will history say about him? Because when history analyzes his presidency, don't only be talking about how he tanked the economy, about how tribalism came to the fore under his watch. You understand? But history will look at his presidency, at his non-leadership, and how under his watch, public trust in political leadership came to an all-time low. That is what is at stake. And that's the burden he's placed on the next leader of this country. How do you restore credibility in public leadership? How do you do that? How do you do that in the midst of what he continues to do with some of these careless statements? You understand? And you see, my brother says something, and I support him. You see, sometimes political parties should understand that you formed or you became a political party because of Ghana. That's the only reason why you became a political party. And that when you have sponsored somebody to become leader of this country, and the person is using those powers in a manner that is adverse to the agenda of this country, then it's the duty of you, the political party, first to rise up against that person, so that when the president appointed people who were perceived to have any partisan coloring, not just MPP, we would have raised the same angst if you had appointed people in the NDC. You understand? It's the duty of MPP as a political party should have spoken and asked and called the president to order. They should have done it first before the rest of us Ghanaians. Because the reason why you formed a political party was because of Ghana. Was because you felt that the best way to advance the Ghana agenda was through a certain way. When the president sat down, breached his trust, and caused Galamsey to destroy our environment, caused us to lose our property, what was MPP's position? As a political party, what was their position? Because in all of this, right now they have become enablers. And when the time of reckoning comes, when the day of reckoning comes, the day when we will ask the president to account for his stewardship, the MPP will have questions to answer because they're enablers. I respect my brother here for his views. I always say that. But you see the response coming from the people of this country.
NDC fanatics.
No, you see, and they're Ghanaians. It's not whether they are NDC. So what about me? Am I an NDC sucker? What about me? Am I an NDC fanatic? What about me? Am I an NDC fanatic?
One leg is in there.
Am I an NDC fanatic? When an evil is being done in this country and people speak, you call them. I'm coming. Listen, this is serious business. You see, this is serious business. You understand? When an evil is being done to this country, when an evil is being done to this country,
okay, you finish.
When an evil is being done to this country, see when
of your children, you know that
you understand? You see, when our water bodies are becoming brown, when they are being cyanide laden, when the lives of the livelihoods of people around these rivers. And when you understand the essence, the importance of rivers to the development of every community, and they are now cyanide and arsenic laden, mercury, because the person into whom a trust was created, to protect not just the resources of the country, but also the environmental integrity of this country, sat down aloof and allowed the integrity of the environment to be undermined, to the detriment of every single Ghanaian, has caused a wanton loss of trust in political leadership, has undermined our belief in the ability of democracy, constitutional democracy, to deliver on its promises. When somebody has done this evil to this country, and you think because of the color of the party that sponsored him, you should defend him at the expense of your country. At the expense of your country. When you start seeing people who share different views, or people who want to defend this country as being mere NDC fanatics, then you do not love this country. Right. Then you've lost your usefulness as a political institution. And that is what is at stake. And that's why I'm saying that a day of reckoning will come. And that day of reckoning comes, it will not just be the head of Nanado that will be on the chopping board. When that day of reckoning comes, the NPP as a political party will be held accountable because they were nibblers in this mess that's been done to our country.
Right, thank you very much. Let me come to Saka.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think my brother intelligently. I mean, we all know where they are. We know where their hearts are. We know they want the APP to lose. We know that. Please. If let me talk. If not, when you are talking, I won't allow you.
Allow him.
Yeah, we know. I mean, they were with us. They couldn't, compete, and then they had to run away. We know that, and therefore, their inordinate desire is to see the NPP in opposition. They are not to win political power. Therefore, when they are talking and create the impression as if they are neutrals and all those things, all is in furtherance of ensuring that people vote against the NPP. But the Ghanaian people know the truth. They know the NPP has done well when it comes to infrastructure. The NDC is no match. When it comes to hospitals, when it comes to road infrastructure, when it comes to school infrastructure, everything, every subsector, agriculture and what have you. He talked even personality. When we talk about the two personalities, he was talking about Baumia and he was using some incendiary words like this character. When it comes to character between John Mahama and Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia, everybody knows. I'm not talking about whether or not somebody drinks or not. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about even oh, please let me talk. I'm not talking about whether somebody is a drunkard, somebody is not. That is not the point. Oh, please, let me talk. In terms of credibility, in terms of competence, this is one person allegation after the other. Embryo allegation where Professor Mills had to set a committee, his own president, to investigate John Dramani Mahama. The committee was chaired by William Abua. William Abua, who was the interior minister then. We have others like General Alote, who was a member and another one. And when Professor Mills died and he came, he dissolved that committee. We're talking about the embryo, we're talking about Airbus. This shadowy kind of clearance that this OSP did. Well, nobody is going to recognize that. Can you let me finish? Nobody is going to recognize that. You see, when they are fetching for allegations against Baumia, they cannot get. They say he changed bank guarantee to insurance guarantee. As if what they were doing, as if that is corruption. Look, it is only to enable whoever, the PDS people, to ensure that we get the guarantee. So if you change, listen, I understand it more than you. I understand it 100 times more than you. I understand it 100 times more than you. Listen to me. Both of them are insurances. One is bank, one is insurance. So if, in terms of contract, it is possible that you can vary certain contracts. Those things are there. So if, for instance, in this case, it was not because anybody discovered anything. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo himself decided that the PDS was going to be cancelled. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was warned that if we cancel this PDS, Ghana government will not assess the 180 million Millennium Challenge accounts that was yet to be drawn. And another said, no. Whatever the situation is, I will not allow this company to still go ahead. So it was not like as if, and it was not the opposition that even discovered all the Al-Qut matter. It was the MPP government itself that went and discovered that the insurance a guarantee that was given to them, they are unable to, to make good use of it and all that. Then you come and sit here and say that, oh, because a committee sat and that committee was led by Mahmoud Baumia, it means that is corruption. Then another form of corruption is that, it's a single source. So single source, as if you don't know that Procurement Act allows single source. Procurement Act allows single source. And look, I mean, are you saying that Baumia was the one who asked that his brother should be given that?
Yes.
Very good, very good. So no problem. Yeah, because let me tell you, there isn't no. Oh, Charlie, the guy doesn't want me to talk. He has taken about 3 minutes. He has taken about 3 minutes of my time. I am saying that. You see, can you test that in the court of law? The John Mahama brother one has been tested in the court of law. Oh, listen, because look, if not, no, listen, it's not about regimes. It is not about regime. Court of law. The law remains the law, whether in one regime or the other. The law remains the law. I am saying, you cannot compare the two because look, this one. The box set was given at a time when the brother had already lost election. And if you look at all the processes, unless, of course, you are the president himself or a brother of the president, nobody on earth could have facilitated the process to finish at that speed, at that alacrity. And I'm saying that John Dramani Mahama, when it comes to credibility and integrity, look, if he were that credible, Ghanaians would not have voted him out. They would not have booted him out like cassava that somebody has uprooted. And you see, he's going around, my changey, free SHS, when indeed you were the one all over the place, delegating free HSS, even telling us that those that he said that when they come the first year, he will pay their all manner of promises. These were the people that he said Omubong, that they are not good enough to go to the university, and that they only got that opportunity because teachers cheated for them. And you are telling me that this man has a credibility. Somebody who fetches around, who goes around, anywhere you see people talk, then you said, okay, I will do ABCD. For instance, licensure exams. You started even the implementation, the piloting and all those things. The implementation was going to start in 2017. Daily graphic, it's a banner headline. Licensure exams to start in 2017, and that was in 2016. That time you didn't say that it wasn't about to know. When you lost power and you saw that some teachers were failing, and therefore, in order for you to let me finish. No, but I'm only saying I only want to offer clarity to. I mean, on that licensure exams thing. I've heard the former president speak about it. He said it was going to be added to. To what? To the examination they do. It's not going to be separate. To what examination? Where you complete school, and then you are going to write the exams separately. These are bogus explanation that he started, afterthought. Let me do explanation that would differ from. No, that was the same format that was going to be done. And apart from that, 2012, John Dramani Mahama as president outlawed Okada. 2012. He went to parliament and outlawed and said that whoever ride Okada is illegal, the person should be arrested. When he lost power, he saw that the Okada people have grown exponentially. He said, okay, I'm legalizing Okada because he wants the vote. You said that Nanato was bringing free SHS, should not bring free SHS, that Ghana will not accept or introduce free SHS on the whimsical promise of a desperate politician. Now, wait. Now the free SHS people want to show you. They want to show you and give their loyalty to the MPP. They said, I brought some progressive free SHS, so that is the beginning of free SHS. And then you want to tap in. Thank you. No, let me finish. You want to tap in into the free HSS. I'm sure that the free HSS graduates are not fools. They will not be woodwinked. So if they vote for the NDC, they are fools. They are not. But that is what I said. They are not fools. For you to hoodwink them, they are not. Thank you very much. And therefore, all the things that they are doing it will not. It will
amount to not.
It will amount to.
Right.
But let me no. The last point.
You decided to
use all your
time.
No. I still have 1 minute.
I gave you a topic.
No. I still have 1 minute.
You don't have 1 minute. Your time
when another was talking about. When another I was talking about the slate matter. Was that
no. You are done with the.
No. Why he was talking? No. Please. Okay. 30 seconds. Oh, please.
You are done.
30 seconds.
You decided to use all your
30 seconds
to talk about.
Give me 30 seconds.
You are done.
Oh, bless. Give me. Then I will use that one to interrupt.
Why would you interrupt?
Then give me 30 seconds.
Don't turn off your microphone.
No, give me 30 seconds.
Proceed.
First of all, Bless, I think that it is important to appreciate the frustration of my.
But you were rather frustrated.
You see, clearly, we're in this country when a minister of state at the presidency was caught red-handed on tape. Minister of State at the Finance Ministry was caught red-handed on tape, stating emphatically to businessmen that the only way to convince this vice president, by name Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to approve their business transactions was simply to make available $200,000 to $300,000 to him. A minister of state caught on tape. It has not been denied. So it presupposes, or it suggests that it is known within government circles and within the business community. Everybody knows the power and technicalities associated with a bank guarantee as compared with that of an insurance guarantee. So the conclusion that can reasonably be drawn is that for Mahmoud Bawumia, if the PDS people were generous enough to have gotten him 200,000, 300,000 package, are you getting it? That was the only reason why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would preside over a meeting that would change a bank guarantee that was meant to protect the sanctity and security architecture of this country. Because I've already explained that ECG is part of the security installation of this country. That is the only reason why Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will sit and chair such a meeting to change such a technical requirement to an insurance guarantee that can easily be taken. Money. Like the Minister of State indicated at the Finance Ministry, that the only way to get him to do is to pay him money. And I have stated on this platform that this is another character we are dealing with who had no shame in stealing directly, using his office, rice belonging to market women of this country who imported it into this country to sell, to distribute to his party apparatchiks. You have not been able to dispute that. You made references to John Dramani Mahama. Everybody and his brother. Everybody knows Ibrahim Mahama. And we all know that even before President Mahama became vice president, Ibrahim Mahama was a major force in the mining industry of this country. Indeed, most of his major contracts in the mining sector was secured under your party, President John Ajekum Kufuor. President Mahama, unfortunately, because he was concerned about issues of conflict of interest, that was what even delayed this Ninahi bauxite allocation to Mahama. Ibrahim Mahama. That is why it took more than 4 years. People speak as if the process started within a year. It took more than 4 years to a point even Ibrahim was frustrated and knew that under the presidency of President Kufuor or any other president, even within the NDC, he wouldn't have had that difficulty. But President Mahama needed to cross the dots and to dot the I's and cross all the T's. So that should tell you that if President Mahama wanted to make that allocation, it wouldn't have taken 4 years of his presidency to hand it over to his brother. How many years did President Mahama use to build Terminal 3? How many years did President Mahama use? How many years did President Mahama use to build Terminal 3? How many years did President Mahama use to do the processes that led to the construction of the E-blocks? How many years? So that tells you that President Mahama could have easily handed over what he wanted to, even in his first year as presidency, to Ibrahim Mahama. But because he's meticulous, because he was concerned about issues of conflict of interest, that was the reason why it took 4 years, even more, for the allocation to eventually be done. And you see, secondly, now to respond specifically to another lie he peddled about the fact that what's the name?
Ford Expedition.
For what?
Ford Expedition.
Another, I'm not even going to waste time on that because it's established. My brother made reference to one interesting feature about this president. And you see, you have handled the issue so intelligently that any attempt
to run commentary will be repetitive, but except to add that I respect the realization that you have come to, and many of your likes, that the greatest tragedy to have befallen this country is the Drew, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and President, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You see, the disdain and the lack of interest in our democracy is not just limited to their conduct in government. It also has a lot to do with the kind of high expectations that the Ghanaian people had in their leadership because of the promises they made in opposition. So that is why there seemed to be that slump as far as the trust in our democratic process is concerned, because President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo presented himself in opposition as an angel. Indeed, even the first few months of his presidency in the northern region, he was emphatic that any appointee of his who is interested in business should leave politics and forget about any appointment and go directly into business. Today, this same man with zero principles is on a national platform expressing doubt as to why people should be concerned about the illegal attempts to purchase the interest in shares. Today, but that guy is a sitting member of your government, an appointee of the state. It doesn't matter. He was a member of the government. He had served even at a point as regional minister in the eastern region.
You are lying. It's not true.
In fact, he was offered rather, but he rejected. But even before then, he was a minister of state.
He was offered.
He was minister of national security, not mean a place. And subsequently, now made minister of Agric. And Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the same man who told us that nobody should be interested in business should come close to his country. Again, we are talking about interfinal. You see, my brother, let me also make this point, and you will know how dirty, these people are, that how corrupt they are. This same Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in opposition promised us that, oh, I'm not going to give contracts to my family members. Go to the insurance sector today. Can you respect your viewers? You see, you can come through all the insurance space today. Every major insurance done by a state entity has been taken over by Enterprise Insurance, owned by the president's own finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. Today, even State Insurance Corporation is not getting access to even STC to insure their fleet of vehicles. STC vehicles are insured by Enterprise Insurance, by the president's own cousin. As I speak with you, almost every sector of government has been hijacked by these crooks in the name of governance. And so I can understand the anger and disdain of my brother, because for the first time in our republic, we are not dealing with dishonest politicians. We are dealing with a bunch of crooks who have made a commitment only to themselves to deplete the meager resources of this country. And I can assure you, my brother, there is no way that a John Mahama-led administration will allow the likes of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Nana Addo to go on with that crazy looting. And we will make sure that you are brought before the full rigors of the law. What kind of dirty politician is that?
Thank you. Thank you, Saka. Thank you, Saka. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mr. Suhini. And to our cherished viewers, good morning to Mr. Stephen Penn. I'm unable to read your message this morning, but I want to thank you for your time. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Truly African.